Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, powered by the Charleston American Marketing Association and broadcasting from our home base at Charleston Radio Group. Thanks to CRG, we're able to talk to the movers and shakers of Charleston, from economy to art, from hospitality to tech, and everything in between. These leaders have made a home here in the Lowcountry. They live here, they work here, they make change here. Why? Let's talk about it.
Hello and welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, powered by the Charleston American Marketing Association. We are recording in the Charleston Radio Group studios while Cos Films is behind the camera, both supporters of CAMA. Let's not forget the talented Jerry Feelsgood with the beats at the front and the end of the show. Thank you to all of our supporters. What's up, gang? I'm Stephanie Barrow, your CAMA past president and founder of Stephanie Barrow Consulting, a digital strategy agency located here in Charleston. I'm joined by my guest co-host, Darius Kelly. Darius, introduce yourself, friend.
Hi, everybody. I'm Darius Kelly. I am the owner of DK Design. We are a marketing and design company right here in Charleston, South Carolina. And this year, I joined the CMA as a sponsorship director. I'm excited to get this thing going, as this is my first podcast.
Yay, let's give them a round of applause. Moral support. Woo! All right, I'm excited to be joined here by my friend Jessica Munday of Trio Solutions. Not only is she a friend of mine, but she gave me my first job here in Charleston and has been a marketing game changer for over 20 years. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, Stephanie.
How are you?
I'm good.
Jessica, this is the fun point where I get to talk about how impressive you are right in front of you and read all of your accomplishments. So are you ready?
Goodness. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Jessica is a serial entrepreneur with a diverse business portfolio across several industries. She's the CEO and founder of Trio Solutions, Trio, as like we like to call it, a full-service marketing communications agency here in Mount Pleasant, serving clients nationwide. With over 2 decades of being in business, Trio is one of the most established agencies here in South Carolina. In addition to being the visionary of Trio, Jessica also is a partner and co-founder of Cloud9 Nonprofit Advisories based out of South Florida, a consulting agency helping nonprofits across the country transcend the challenges they face. Additionally, Jessica assists her husband, the wonderful Captain Jamie Holcombe, with running Full Circle Fishing Charters, a sport fishing and boat concierge company with a mission to bring the joy of boating and fishing to as many people as possible. With 30 years dedicated to the marketing profession, Jessica enjoys developing brands, plans, relationships to help service-based businesses and nonprofits accomplish their goals and cultivate their brand presence in the markets they serve. She is passionate about making a difference and enjoys working with companies and organizations to help them fulfill their mission. That was a mouthful. You are a very impressive friend.
Well, thank you. I certainly feel blessed, and just being able to surround myself with incredible people like yourself and Darius. And I love watching the paths that the individuals that have walked through the door of Trio have taken in life is one of the things that just brings me so much joy. And to be able to see your accomplishments and the friendships that have been made from everyone is just something that I'm so extremely proud of. And I just am honored to be here with y'all today.
Oh, and I will tell you that Trio is a family. Their motto, I'm not going to steal it from her, but is, go ahead, I'll say it.
My lifelong mantra, yes. Work hard, enjoy life, and make a difference.
Yes, and she lives and breathes that in everything that she does. Some of my very best friends I've met through my time at Trio that I'm still very close with. So I feel super, super blessed to have to know you and to call you a friend. So
well, thank you.
But so we have a lot to cover, and I want to jump right in. And for people who are not sure who Jessica Munday is, I don't know how you don't know who she is, but she's been part of the Charleston Marketing Association for many years. I think you were one of the founding members, right? Weren't you? Like, you've been at for 30 years, 20 years?
Yeah, I guess I could say I'm one of the OGs, but I definitely want to give a shout out to individuals like Lee Dees, Dave Brown, Holly Fisher.
Miss Holly.
Barry Waldman. I mean, there's so many I could keep going down, but we had to have, if memory serves me correctly, we had to have about 75 local marketing professionals. That's
still the case, 75, yeah.
Yes, to get that charter. And I remember it well, and it's just been wonderful to watch this chapter blossom over the years and to see all the new faces and incredible individuals that have really kept the spirit of elevating marketing in this community alive. And so kudos. I know
Thank
you put a lot of time
and you
and
were
energy.
Marketer of the Year.
I
Not
was
to keep bragging about you, but yeah.
Marketer of Year. It was the first year, I believe, that the Post and Courier sponsored that award. But
Okay.
I remember it well, and certainly humbled by the honor. But definitely have put a lot of time and energy into the marketing profession in Charleston and beyond. So I proudly display that award in my office, and it is actually a very, very beautiful award.
And they've won lots of Spark Awards as well, because we see them. They're beautifully displayed right there in the conference room.
So we need to add award-winning. Did we add that to
No,
the
but I
rollout?
think that's a good note.
Yeah.
So note to self, Stephanie going forward.
Award-winning.
Award-winning agency.
We might do that a lot during this show.
Yeah, we're going to just
adding
keep
to your
saying
bullet points.
award-winning. Yes, I love it. One of the reasons why I wanted to have Jessica on today is because we just recently had her at a coffee talk to talk a little bit about AI marketing. Now, you know a little thing about AI marketing, right, Darius?
Yes, I am very familiar with it, as it is like the new topic in our industry.
Yes. And people like me who are, solopreneurs or even, agencies like Jessica, do a lot of like copywriting and social media marketing. And it's funny because I dabbled in AI a little bit before your coffee talk, but then I came home and I paid for the subscriptions. I'm actually like a copy AI fan, which has been really great. So I would love to hear you talk a little bit about, give a little intro to what AI marketing is for people who aren't super familiar.
Sure. I got really excited about the AI world when ChatGPT came on the scene last fall. And for me personally, it reminded me very much of when the web world came about in the 90s and the dot-com boom. And, if you are one that loves learning and has a thirst for growing, then this is the space that you need to be in. It is a game changer for the entire world. But I've seen some reports recently that for the marketing professional that adopts AI technology, you are leveling up your professional abilities so much stronger than the marketing professional that does not. And if you want to be left in the dust, then don't embrace AI.
Right.
If you want to take it to the next level, then you need to get in the game and start playing.
Right. And it's not coming for our jobs, though. That's the thing that I left leaving with and said, okay, I can implement this, but I'm not going to 100% be obsolete anytime soon, one would hope.
I would agree. The human connection and the ability to discern the outputs that you get from AI is still vital. And I think that it's also important that you are transparent with your clients.
Sure.
If you are a solo entrepreneur or have your own business like all of us do, it's not that you're using it to completely replace what you do.
Right.
You're using it as a tool to help elevate the work you're doing and to be able to produce more in a shorter amount of time.
Right.
Yeah. For instance, I use it for ideas, right? So I've worked for I started my own thing a couple years ago, and I've had the same clients the whole time. And after writing about basically the same services for 2 years, sometimes your ideas are going to become stale. And so for me, I'll be like Giving Tuesday ideas for this type of a nonprofit. And I will get all of these paragraphs and I'll read it. So it's kind of like a Cliff Notes version of different creative campaigns. That's what I personally use it for. Now, I know AI can be used for lots of other things. Now, as an agency, what are some of the other ways that you're using AI in your Trio?
Yeah, so there's several tools that we have adopted at Trio and my other businesses, honestly, because I do think there's an opportunity for any industry to embrace the AI technologies. But the ones that stand out to me are definitely the note takers, so that you can
Smart.
spend more time focused on the conversation with the individuals that you are having that conversation with.
That is smart.
Rather than writing notes and
Yes.
being halfway listening because you're worried about the note taking. So our account managers are definitely leaning into the AI tools for meetings.
Okay.
Obviously, the graphic designers are leaning into it through the Creative Cloud, Fireflies that's now available through
Firefly, okay.
Adobe, is creating some really strong graphic outputs in the fraction of time. So again, I go back to the efficiency that AI is creating that's allowing that creative professional to produce more. But you still have to have that professional eye discerning the output that the technology is giving you.
Is that one concern that you see regarding AI, that we may become a little too dependent down the road? Or do you think that things will kind of just even out and people will be able to adapt?
I think the train left the station and that we're going to have to adapt.
Yeah.
I think it's going to continue to be as fast as it has been, if not faster. That being said, I did see in the news earlier this week that the president had signed an executive order related to AI. So I do think there are going to become more parameters around the technology, just to make sure, one, we stay safe and that we are protecting the integrity that we are able to produce as professionals. And so, yes, I do think that there's going to be ebbs and flows, just like there was with the internet and web development world as well.
And there's some parameters to keep in mind too. If like for Chat GPTs, it's what, 2 years, the historical data. So if you're pulling facts or quotes or that kind of thing, it's a little bit behind the curve. So you have to be to do your own research to be professionally sound that this is actual factual information. It's funny, I tested it once where I was in ChatGPT and I put in something and I took the exact copy, the output, and I put it into Google, and people were taking that blog I'm talking like major corporations, as just took it exactly what came out, spit out, and took it as their own and put it everywhere. And that is not what you should be doing, people. That was scary to see. I was testing it. And it was no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing with it.
That is a great point. We have a rule at the office, absolutely no copy and paste.
No.
Right.
There can be no copy and paste, and it's a known fact that AI hallucinates.
Yes.
So you, again, going back to having that human eye discern the outputs that the technology is giving you, you need to make sure that what you are producing is factual, it's accurate, and it is the output that you would want for either yourself or if you're doing work for clients that you would want them to have.
I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
But like right now, it's not advanced enough, even though it's moving very fast, to, I guess, predict what we want. So I think the prompts and the things that we put in are only going to be as good as
That's a key point. I think, like, for instance, you can write as a social media manager for this nonprofit focusing on this one campaign, and then you can provide links depending on the different, like the more information you provide. And if you're Stephanie, I'll be like, thank you so much afterwards, just because, I mean, they could take over the world one day, so I might as well just be nice to them. But I always like thank you, Alexa. I'm like, thank you so much for your help, But I think that's important to realize that it's not all 100% factual. And there's been some articles that some cases that it's come up that it's definitely cost some clients some
Have
problems.
you guys to what degree have you experimented with Adobe Firefly so far with AI?
I haven't personally, because I'm not a graphic designer, although I often say if I could go back in life, I would be a graphic designer.
You have a good creative eye.
I can see what I want, but I
Right.
can't actually do it.
Right.
But from what I have heard from our design team, and I will say one of our designers can be a little bit more skeptical about the technology, they've been very impressed.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah. And a little tip I learned recently, especially with ChatGPT, is that once you ask for the output, you can, and using the prompts is key.
Right.
Like the stronger your prompt is, the more informative your prompt is to the AI, the
Yes.
stronger the output's going to be. But after you get that output, you can actually say, now critique your output.
That's like my favorite part about ChatGPT.
So I've
Yes.
never done this. So explain a little bit. You just say critique it.
So when you type in create a campaign
Yes.
for XYZ,
Uh-huh.
they give you the answer.
Right.
You can reply back and say, hey, make this shorter, or make this from the perspective of XYZ. Make this a little bit more caring
Got
or
it.
thoughtful, and it will give you responses based on that. So it's very like conversational in
I
how
love
you
that.
can go back and forth with it, which I think is
There's one I use. I subscribe to. It's called Copy AI. Have you used that?
I haven't
so
used
one feature about is I like is you can write it in your brand voice. So they'll go to your website or your social media and they'll be like, well, Stephanie writes in a friendly blah 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 way, and then you click the button that says, Stephanie's voice, and so that really was a game changer for me.
That's
Because
cool.
before it sounded a little more scientific. It didn't sound like something I would write. And when they started putting some output out, I was like, this sounds just like me. This is terrifying. But it has been a real game changer, especially for things like I cannot stand doing my own website. Like I love marketing other people. But like for social media tips, like 2023 social media tips, AI social media tips, that kind of thing, they're right on the nose. They sound just like me, which is not good. Not good at all.
One thing I would say keep in mind is as we become more savvy around utilizing the technology, you start to recognize when someone has used
Sure.
ChatGPT.
Oh yeah.
for sure.
And you never want to dilute your reputation or your brand
Right.
at the expense of using any software for
Right.
that matter. So I do, again, go back to take the output, make it your own, weave in any edits that can ensure that the copy doesn't appear that it was actually produced completely from AI.
Yes, because really the AI software just pulling information from the internet and
100%.
kind of just putting it together based off what you write. So you make a very good point.
You start to see the same patterns over and over, the bulleted list, the
Oh, yeah.
conclusion at the end. And so once you start utilizing the tool, okay, well, this is what I need to change. Maybe I need to put this more in a paragraph format rather than bullet points. And going back to the critique feature, which I love, is let's say you start the prompt as, you are a professional copywriter with an emphasis on this particular industry. It gives you the output for whatever you're asking it for. The next prompt can be, now I want you to go back and critique what you just provided me and provide me an even stronger version.
I love it. I'm going to re-listen to this later and write these things down because sometimes, like for instance, I use it sometimes for blog writing because I am not an expert on everything. For instance, one of my major clients here in Charleston is a HVAC company, and I've gotten to know their business over the course of the year. But do I know everything about ductwork? I do
Right.
not. I've been in ductwork in the
Yeah.
suit. I can do that, but do I know every aspect of it? So what I do is I put it in something like that. I edit it to sound more like them. And then I, of course, send it over to the team to verify that this is actual factual for not only their business, but the Charleston area and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of legwork in it, but I do think it's a big time saver.
Of course. I mean, just in the writing aspect, for me, it's always hard to start the first two sentences. So it gives me that jumping off point to where I can just catch a flow. Like you said, once you kind of know the business that you're working with, it's easier to understand the voice that they want to speak in. And ChatGPT just aids in all of that.
Right. So I know a lot of listeners aren't necessarily in marketing. I know this is a marketing podcast, but we have other people who are small business owners or nonprofits or that kind of thing. If they've never been involved in AI at all, where do you suggest they start?
So I would suggest signing up for newsletters for individuals who are really true experts in this space. One that stands out to me is Neil Patel.
Oh, yeah.
His newsletters are super informative. The more newsletters that you can sign up for so that you immerse yourself in the industry conversation, it gradually over time, you will start to feel like you're in the know in this particular space. And all of it, this is all still so new for everybody. And I often joke that if you say you're an AI expert, then you're really a fool, because the only people that are AI experts right now are the people that actually help build this technology.
Right.
So we are all learning. And if you really enjoy being at the forefront of an opportunity within whatever industry you're in, because the number of tools that are being developed is truly mind-blowing. Right now, you just need to test them out to see which ones work the best. I have a feeling that it's going to be much like the .com bust, in that not all of these are going to be around in another year or two.
Sure.
So it's just a time to test, have fun, see what you like, see what works best for your industry, and lean into learning as much as you can. Set up a Google alert for AI technology in your field, and just be part of the conversation.
Sure. I saw recently in Canva, I've signed up for the professional version, and now they have Canva Magic, which is kind of like AI for that, which is interesting. So once again, you type in, 4 or 5 letters, like just talking about what you want, and then all of a sudden you get all these templates automatically. It's pretty cool.
It is, and there's some out there. Tume is one for slides. What I have recognized, though, especially if you're in our industry where you, Darius, have an eye for graphic design, and
That's
you want
not my
things
forte.
to really look nice,
Right.
the output is not what.
It just hasn't caught up yet.
No, it's a starting point.
I mean, these things are, even Chat GPT, there's I think we're on version 4 possibly, but it's still beta. Adobe Firefly is still beta in terms of the way it's going to advance in the next 6 months. Who knows what it's going to look like next year or 2 years, just like .com. After a while, things start to move very fast, like our technology nowadays. So just speaking towards that, like the future of AI in business, what are you projecting? You did mention earlier about some things maybe falling off. What do you see next 5-10 years?
Goodness, I see some of these AI companies are going to go public, so that's going to be another game changer. Some are going to make it, some are not going to make it. I think the government is going to get more involved. I think there's going to be more regulation. I think that the beta versions are going to move into the 2.0 versions.
Nice.
And it's just going to continue to evolve. That being said, I've seen 2 situations recently that was kind of a eye-opener for utilizing AI. I'll give you an example of one. I mentioned the note-taking tool earlier. I heard from a colleague of mine where they were on a meeting where the AI note-taker was active.
Okay.
They hopped off. The client stayed on.
Oh, no.
And there was some conversation that took place that they really didn't want the other people to hear.
Oh, no. That's funny.
So, again, you really just have to be mindful of how you're using it.
They're always listening, people.
And then the other one that came up that I thought was interesting is there were individuals who were invited to a meeting. They didn't come. They sent their note taker. And so I think you just have to be smart, people. Think about what's the perception of you utilizing the technology. Don't let it dilute you.
Would you go so far as to put it on your website?
That you use it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think it's just important to be able to produce more without jeopardizing the quality is something that we should all embrace.
Absolutely.
So if I'm a new business owner, right, or if I'm trying to get my marketing, my branding and stuff together, and I'm surveying the different companies, should I be a little wary of certain companies that are so AI forward right now? Like how do I make the choice? How do I figure out?
Well, I think that really goes back to your willingness to test. I think you're going to have to, and there's no way you can test all of them.
Right.
I think just pick out a few that make the most sense based on what you do on a day-to-day basis and test them out. I know for us at Trio, we've already tested out a few, and they didn't really perform the way that we would want, so we canceled it.
Right.
And most of them don't come with a yearly contract. It's most of them are month to month.
Right.
You
Yeah,
can
they
stop your service at any point in time.
For sure. I love it. I think everyone's leaving with a lot of takeaways. Now, if you were going to go sign up for just say 2 or 3, which one would you say? Like these are the people you need to ChatGPT.
Oh, ChatGPT, definitely pay for the plus version.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The outputs are, I probably get the formula wrong, something like 1,000,000 times better than the basic. So
I should do that probably instead of Copy AI then. I liked the brand voice of Copy AI. I thought that was helpful. But once again, I never take it verbatim and just use it. So I guess I should probably just test, like you said, practice what you preach, test out both of them, see which one works for you.
And with Copy AI, you just put in the link to your website and it takes on that. Like, how does it get the brand?
It just says reviewing, and then it does. It just reviews your website,
Okay.
or it can review your, put your Instagram page in. Sometimes I'll put in like multiple things. Like for instance, I work with a nonprofit in Boston that's about like women empowerment, and there's a lot of stats on like running safety and that kind of thing. And there's so much information out there because people are constantly doing new studies on the safety. So I use it sometimes to pull stats, but then I have to go back and verify that this is accurate and up to date. So to answer your question, yeah, I like the brand voice of it, but I've heard great things about the paid version of ChatGPT. So.
Yeah, I think Dolly for graphics, certainly in your space, Darius, utilizing Fireflies with Adobe. Jasper is a great one if you're in the marketing field. There's all types of templates that you can utilize in that program. Read AI is the one that we've been using for meetings. But
Okay.
definitely still be careful
Yeah,
with
no.
that.
I was wondering if you were going to say something like, they said inappropriate words in the script. And that was sent out to a team of people. That would have been bad. But that's awesome. So while I have Jessica here, I have other fun things to talk about because I love her and I know her so well. So what's going on with EO? How's everybody at the EO world?
So I absolutely love EO. EO is the Entrepreneurs Organization, and I'm the past chapter president of the EO Charleston chapter, and I'm now serving as area director on the U.S. East region.
Love it.
It has given me some incredible opportunities to travel, honestly, around the world because EO is a global organization with about 18,000 entrepreneurs from around the globe. So being able to see other parts of the world and meet other successful entrepreneurs has just been such an inspiring opportunity. And the organization's values are based on growth and learning and once-in-a-lifetime experiences.
I love it.
And it delivers.
And I heard you recently moved to the Harbor Entrepreneur Center.
We did. So we moved the Trio office to the Harbor Entrepreneur Center, and EO is also in that building along with 60 other businesses.
Wow.
It has really become a entrepreneur innovative hub for this community, not just Mount Pleasant, but the entire Tri-County area. And the Harbor Entrepreneur Center is actually the lead agent for an initiative called One Region, focused on the entrepreneur and innovation pillar of the One Region initiative. And there is some really amazing economic development, entrepreneurship programs that are happening. And I feel like they're just pushing out a launching pad for this rocket.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
How do upcoming entrepreneurs get involved with EO? How do they sign up? How do they become a part of it?
So there are really two organizations, I would say, local that are taking the lead on creating a entrepreneur ecosystem for us, and that's the Harbor Entrepreneur Center, which is a nonprofit, but it's also physically the building that's at 11 E Wall Street in Mount Pleasant. Just walk through the doors of that building. That's a good place to start.
All right.
And then also EO, which has our EO Charleston chapter. Go to the website, eocharleston.org. go to the harborec.org.
Yep.
Both of them have incredible accelerator programs, and both are really passionate about collaborating with organizations like I Hope Women's Business Center and SCORE, and pretty much any organization locally that is all about elevating an entrepreneur. That is what that organization and both of those groups are about. Okay. And so there's websites that you can go to that have a calendar of events, and just come meet people. Just start there with a conversation.
I've been to some of the happy hours, and it's a great way to meet people and feel inspired.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to go. Cause needs to go.
I haven't heard of it, so that's
Oh, really?
No, I haven't. So that's why I was wondering, like, how do you get involved? Because I know you have like over 20 years of entrepreneur experience, like babysitting company, et cetera, et cetera. So I know.
Well, let's just go to lunch.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I love what's happening. The community of connection. I love it. We're going to talk about one more thing because it's very true to my heart, and it's also very true to Jessica's heart, which is her Create-a-thon. So I'll let you tell a little bit about Create-a-thon.
Yes, we just wrapped up our 17th annual Create-a-thon. Cannot believe it's been 17 years. And we have now supported 80 nonprofits in the Tri-County area and beyond. We actually help anywhere from Myrtle Beach to Hilton Head over the past 17 years, and have donated over $1 million in free marketing support to those 80 nonprofits. Tomorrow we have our breakfast where we are going to unveil what we just produced over the past 24 hours to 5 local deserving nonprofits who were this year's recipients.
So if you're not familiar with Create-a-thon, this is one of my favorite things about working at Trio. It was a 24-hour marketing blitz where we did, as an agency, and we had some volunteers come and help too. We didn't sleep for 24 hours. We just worked on nonprofit work for, as she said, deserving nonprofits. And it was just such a wonderful and fulfilling experience. And I loved being a part of it. Every time I go to that breakfast, though, I cried.
Everybody cries. Oh. It makes it so everybody's so happy about why they dedicated the time. The nonprofits are so appreciative for what we have provided because a lot of them have such limited resources. And then to be able to see the marketing materials or website or whatever we created for them help them fulfill their mission is just extremely rewarding.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So you have a book coming out, or you're working on a book. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So I started working on a book, believe it or not, 10 years ago. Okay. And then I got involved with a very time-intensive initiative, and I had to put the book on the shelf, literally. And so just about a year ago, I pulled all of my notes and I got it back up and running again. It is called Zeke's War, and it is about my dad and his best friend in Vietnam. So they flew to Vietnam together. They flew home from Vietnam together. Wow. And their friendship is something really special. And unfortunately, my dad passed away when I was a teenager, but my stepmom gave me the letters that he wrote home to my grandparents. And so I put those in chronological order, and I started reading them, and I was like, wow, there's a really cool story here. And I actually reached out to Alan, his best friend. They had lost touch with one another, and connected with him and have become friends with him and his daughter.
Okay, so is he a part of this book writing process as well?
Yes, so he actually was inspired by what I was doing, and he wrote down all of his own memoir.
Okay.
That's sweet.
And he provided me with that, and so I've had a lot of resources, not only the original letters, but stories that my dad told me when I was younger, and now Alan's own book, and just researching. I love history. Okay. So pulling all of that together. It's not about the war. The war's the backstory. The story's about the friendship and just how they beat the system so many times with the United States Army so that they could be stationed together no matter where their next assignment was. Yeah. And they were a hoot. I mean,
I bet. I'm just envisioning the book coming out and then the movie, and then I'm watching it on Broadway. I can see it all happening. We've got to call Nicholas Sparks.
It's on the way.
It's on the way.
It's on the way.
Y'all are not the only persons that have said that to me, but truthfully, this is a labor of love, and for me to actually get through writing this book, I would be happy and so fulfilled to just have one manuscript. That was for me personally.
Well,
so
she's a fantastic copywriter, and I cannot wait to read it.
So no AI is going to be used in this.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's all from the heart. I have 15 chapters, so I have an outline. I've gotten really through 5 of them. I had to literally go away by myself for several days to actually really focus and get that done.
Yeah.
I went to Boone, North Carolina. I had a cabin and just put myself away.
I bet that was an emotional experience.
It was very emotional, but it was good. It was cathartic and inspiring, and I got done exactly what I needed to get done. And so now I feel like I need to do that 2 more times, and I'll be done. So I'm not going to go back to the same cabin. However, I stopped for lunch on my way out of town, and the guy at this bar was like, "What are you here for?" And I told him, and he said, "You come back when you're done, and I'm buying you a drink."
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
I can see that as a perfect setting, just sitting up there in the mountains writing your book with your your cup of coffee, your glass of wine, no judgment here, whatever you decide to go with, pick your poison.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing about this book for a year, so I'm really, really excited to read it.
I'm very excited. It's so close, I can taste it. And I've got some great friends in EO that are in my forum that are holding me accountable. And it's because of them that I went away, because they were like, "What's stopping you?" I said, "I just need to go away." And they were like, "Well, why don't you?"
Well, you have a lot. She's always got a lot going on. And when I was working at Trio, I think you were working on fixing your boat up.
Yes.
And it's beautiful, P.S. So if you're looking for a charter here in the Charleston area, her husband, Jamie, is a hoot. He is super funny and like a really nice guy. And so I'm excited that it's like literally come full circle. You got the boat up now. And how big is it? I know a little bit about yachts, like a little bit.
It's a 37-foot Knowles. It's a custom Fish Around Express, and it is a beautiful boat. It is unlike any boat in the Charleston area, and the boat's name is Full Circle. There are so many full circle moments in life, and it's very appropriate that it's named that. And my sons are both interested in the business as well, so it really has become truly a family operation. And as our mission is, our goal is to bring the joy of fishing and boating to as many people as possible.
I love it. And you're docked in Johns Island, correct?
Yes, we're at St. John's Yacht Harbor, which is the nicest marina on the East Coast, I might add.
It is real. I think I've been there to go on a pirate ship. There was like a kid pirate ship there. Yep, just FYI, if anyone wants something random to do.
That's really cool.
Yeah, eventually, when you have kids, Darius, you'll run out of things to do, and you're Googling, and you're like, "Oh, pirate reenactment on a ship. Let's do that. That sounds great."
I would go as an adult.
I would much rather
kids.
be on a fishing charter, hanging out, getting some sun, than wearing pirate paraphernalia.
Oh, do you have to dress up?
Oh, yeah.
You have to dress up.
And the parents, P.S. So that whole little area, I love Johns Island. It's growing so big too. Every time I go visit Taylor, I'm like, it's booming over there. So what else do we have going on? Now, I miss my girls at Trio.
Yes, Trio's doing amazing. Jenny and Abby are really key leaders in the growth of that business, but we've got a great team of account managers and truly a full service team. Anything from web to design to social media to digital marketing and everything in between. I love our culture, and like I said earlier, I love all the friendships that are made by being a part of Trio, and it just really brings a lot of joy. I've seen people that have gotten married, had babies, best friends, travel the world together. Recently saw on Instagram a past employee got married in Italy, and one of her maids of honor was also an employee at Trio, and I just it's amazing.
Full circle.
Yeah,
full circle.
Whenever I go to Charlotte, I look up Laurel, so I see her once in a while. I don't go there very often, but she's doing great. I'm super happy for her, and she was a graphic designer at Trio, and a good friend of mine that moved, and she's everyone. I just kind of keep in touch with everybody. Molly's at MUSC, but she moved to Columbia, so everyone's thriving. It's awesome.
So Jessica, you have so much going on. What do you do to unwind? What do you do in your free time?
She goes to the Bahamas on the yacht.
Yes, the Bahamas is my happy place. I really go back to what we said earlier. My mantra is to work hard, and I do work really hard, and I am very proud of the work that I've done over the years. I still feel like I'm 20, but I'm 50 now, so
really?
That's crazy.
She looks good, doesn't
really?
she? I know.
Okay.
But not only do I work hard, I enjoy life, and life is precious. Everybody on this earth has something, time, and so I really try to be very mindful of time and how time is spent from the moment that you wake up to the time you put your head on the pillow, and just really seeing the blessings and seeing the good in life. And I think that's where people say work-life balance, but when you're an entrepreneur, there's not a this or that. Right. It's integrated.
And she's a very hands-on mom, by the way. She has 3 beautiful kids, and you're a very hands-on mom, too. So she's always doing something.
That's really cool.
Well, thank you.
I'm always interested to see how people kind of work-life balance things out, because it's so easy to get burnt out, especially as an entrepreneur, because you're wearing all the hats.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, Gary Vee, he always says, it's not work, it's what I love doing.
Exactly.
People are always like, dude, why are you working all the time? He's like, I love it. I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah.
So
it's very special to find that thing that you love to do and are able to make a life out of it.
Yes. And to find the passions that you enjoy outside of quote-unquote work.
Right.
But being with my family, certainly traveling, church, hanging out with friends, going away and writing a book. Those are the things that keep me going and keep me very fulfilled.
Yeah, you got to keep us updated on this book.
I definitely will. I feel like we covered a lot, from
fish
to books to nonprofits.
People are going to listen to this, and they're going to know everything about you.
Well, I'm an open book.
There you go. Jessica's doing lots of big things here in the Low Country, between Cloud9 and Trio and you are just busy.
And if you want to go fishing, look up Full Circle.
Oh yeah, Jamie's awesome. Jamie would be a great time. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that's up and running now. I'm so glad. Your socials look awesome. You need to check them out on social media, because her reels are great. It makes me want to go out with my son if I had a son, but I don't.
And if anybody wants to take a boat to go see a show at the stadium on Daniel Island.
I saw you and Jenny did that. I was jealous. That looked like a great time.
It's a great way to get to Daniel Island in a very unique, and where we live is so beautiful. So why not enjoy it on the water?
Absolutely. All right. Well, Jessica, thank you for being here with us today. Where can everybody find you?
Thank you. On LinkedIn, so be sure to connect with me there, and on Instagram at Jess Munday. And happy to connect if anybody wants to talk more about AI or entrepreneurship or just life in general. I feel very blessed and happy to share and support however I can. So we can always go to lunch, have coffee, or glass of wine.
There you go. Hey, I've had lots of wine with her. And you can follow them at Trio Solutions, and then is it at Cloud9? What's the handle for Cloud9?
Thrive with Cloud9.
Oh, there you go.
Even rhymes.
There you go. All right. Before we leave, we need to also thank our sponsors: the Charleston Radio Group, Cause Films, Jerry Feels Good, and of course the American Marketing Association. And hey, if you want to sponsor or be a guest on our show, please reach out to podcast@charlestonama.org, and we will get back to you.
Thank you guys for being with us today. Until next time.
Bye,
Bye.
Charleston.
Thank you.